Evan at point guard and you wanted to take the pressure off of Marcus. Just how do you think it worked out?
Yeah, I thought they both played well. So I guess it's, as I said on TV just now, that's a plus for today. So, we'll see moving forward how that plays itself out. I thought, I said this yesterday, I thought Marcus played well with Jameer. And it kind of showed itself true in a couple of runs there today.
Brad, Marcus has had his ups and downs. Today,
and he will.
Yeah, but it seemed like today he played with a little more instinct.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure that, and even on the ball sometimes, is that kind of what he needs to get to stop being mechanical and stop worrying?
Steve, I think it's a great point. I don't know if it's mechanical as much as just thinking.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Something when you're tasked with running the offense and getting people in spots and playing well yourself, it's a difficult job. And I think that being able to manage those duties a little bit with a guy like Jameer is helpful. So I think that we'll see how it continues to play itself out. But he's going to have some ups and downs, and I hope he continues to play hard through them.
When you saw today, when he gets into that physical, competitive play, is that really the best of especially what he can do now?
That was the best game physically we've played, I thought, as a team. I thought I was a little nervous coming in today because we had 2 hard practices where there were very few fouls called, and there was a real emphasis on getting into the bodies and getting into the ball and competing and growing together as a team through competing against each other, and hopefully we can continue to build off of that. But yeah, that's when he's at his best. There's no question about that.
Obviously, you guys did a really good job on Cousins. What did you think about the way you defended him, and especially you talked about those drives from the top of the free throw line? It seemed like you guys were sending help his way whenever that happened. We
were pretty locked in. I thought he missed a couple of shots he normally makes early, so that's a little bit of a fool's gold. But we tried to mix up when we doubled and when we didn't double. We tried to be active on drives as a team, and it's easier said than done. He didn't have his best day, but I thought our guys were really locked in to guard him. And, we had multiple guys guarding him at different times of the game. BB saw him for a little bit, but Sully and Tyler did the bulk of the guarding him, and I thought they both did a good job.
Coach, when you see an opposing player clearly being emotional, it looks like it's maybe getting to the best of him, do you try to tell your players to go at him and see if they can get the most out of him?
No, I think just play, maybe, I think that, focus more on your team and focus on what you're controlling and just play.
Brad, outside of the plus with Evan and Marcus playing their new roles, I guess you would say, what are the other positives that you took out of today's rotation following the last 2 practices?
Well, I thought they were really tight on our wings with our first group. They weren't giving them much, and so they didn't have as many opportunities offensively as they normally do. But I thought the way that Avery and Jeff defended throughout the game, regardless of how many looks they were getting, really helped our team. And I thought that obviously we did a good job as a group, 1 through 11, being able to keep it at a pretty high level as far as being aggressive defensively and at least not allowing them to take spots easily.
And now in hindsight, with that game in the books, how helpful were Monday and Tuesday's practices to be able to figure out what you wanted to do with this team moving forward?
It wasn't me. It's not for me. It's for them to play together. It's nice to just have 2 days together. I know a couple of them went to a movie together last night. We don't know each other all that well. And there's 3 guys that all played and played meaningful minutes for us, and they're still getting a feel for everything, and our players that are playing are still getting a feel for them. So it's just great to be on the court together and work together.
How great is it to get a win together? I mean, how much does that help in the locker room?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, that's what you hope for. I mean, it's obviously we have a tough road ahead, and we know that starting on Friday.
You had
32 assists and 44 baskets today. How much of that is just the additional time together on the practice floor, and how much of that is just getting more ball handlers?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. There were a couple of plays in the early part of the game where we overpassed, but the ball was really moving and really whipping around. We have to play that way. We have to play unselfishly. We have to make the right play. And, you know, I'd rather overpass than underpass.
Brad, the altercation with Cousins and Smart, one to get your reaction to that. Secondly, did it appear like Smart defensively, there was a play where basically Cousins called for him to come over so he could screen him hard. Obviously he was bothering him in a good way in terms of just his aggressiveness. Is that good? Do you want to see that? And obviously not the altercation, but I wanted to get your thoughts on that too.
Yeah, so I wasn't really paying attention to what happened when they got locked up. I saw Smart fall. That's when I saw it. I just kind of saw that out of the corner of my eye. So I don't know exactly what happened there. I do know that you know, you just have to focus on you and play hard and well, and that is what you always have to do. You can't get caught up in that stuff, and you know, I want Marcus to be competitive and aggressive, but be him. You know, not get caught up in anything else. Just be him, because he's good at that. He's good at being aggressive and competitive, just being himself.
Do you want him to be kind of a get under your skin kind of player? I mean, you know,
I don't ever want, you know, to you know, to promote that. You know, I think at the end of the day, I think that you do have to have a presence about you to have an impact on the game, and he has to have a presence about him to be as good as he can be. When he doesn't have a presence about him, he's a normal guy. When he has a presence about him, he's a really, you know, good contributor to a team.
Brad, what's the balance that has to be struck between being a physical team like you guys were tonight, but not overdoing it and just not being this good?
Yeah, I just think you try to play physical without fouling. That's what you try to emphasize and encourage. And you know, and you play the right way, but you play physical without fouling. But you do have to play physical.